Hey guys, Christine here with Portable Entrepreneur. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel today. If you haven't already, please take just a moment to subscribe down below. Hit that notification bell while you're at it. That way you don't miss out on any of the new videos I have coming your way. All right, today we're going to be talking all about agency expenses. Yep, we're going to be looking at the good, the bad, and the ugly. So there's definitely this fine balance between trying to skimp and save and not spend any money in your business, and then the other extreme of getting constantly distracted by all the shiny objects that you could be spending your money on. So we're going to be looking at that balance today, but more specifically, we're going to be looking at the two stages of expenses that exist in your agency. We're going to be looking at the expenses that go into each of those stages, and we're also going to make sure that your expenses are actually propelling you forward and not holding you back. So let's go ahead and look at those two stages. So these stages are the startup stage and the growth stage for expenses. Now, the reason that we're breaking it down into these two stages is because your business is going to go through different stages on its journey. And so that's why we want to make sure that the expenses you have really reflect the stage that you're in and they adapt to that stage as well. So let's dive into each of these stages, and let's start with the startup stage. So in the startup stage here, this is really where you're starting up, obviously, right? You are just getting into business, or maybe you even have a few clients, but you're really still working to put all the puzzle pieces together to figure out how to really make your agency work. So this is where we tend to want to keep expenses as low as we can, so that we are really just building up our client base and we're building that momentum and starting to build our revenue before we really start to expand out as we get into the growth stage of our expenses. So when it comes to expenses in this stage, what we're looking at are some of the necessary expenses. So take, for instance, your domain and hosting. You got to get your website up, and so you need to have those basic expenses, but that's really just not that much. You can start with something very basic for that. Now, we also want to look at software. Software is something that can be very, very tempting. There's so many options. And one of the reasons it can be very tempting is because we see what so many other people are out there doing, and oh, they're using this tool and that tool, so I must need it too. Our goal is to just keep our expenses basic at this point. So for instance, if you are tempted to get a Adobe Photoshop subscription, well, can't you just use GIMP, which is a free alternative in the meantime? Can you use InVision for your wireframing if that is part of your process? See, these tools are free and they allow you to do an excellent job, and the client isn't going to ask you and doesn't really care what software you're using to get your job done. Now, I am a big advocate of spending money in your business that is going to help you increase your revenue. If there is ever an expense that is going to increase your revenue, it doesn't matter what stage of business you are in, spend it. Do it. You need to grow your business. Now, as an example, one of the places where you can spend money and it's going to help you generate revenue is using a proposal software like Better Proposals, for instance. And the reason that you can use something like this is because you're able to set up your proposal, and when you have a template proposal, when you have a new prospective client, you are able to get a proposal out to them really, really fast because you already have a template set up. You can simply go in, customize it. It looks very professional. You send it out to them and they can see the proposal. You can walk through the proposal with them, and then they sign and they pay right there inside the software. Now that is a software that is going to generate you money, which is why you want to invest in something like that, because you're not going to be using different tools. You're not going to get a client to say yes, and then you have to get them to download the proposal and have them manually sign it and scan it back to you, and then they have to go somewhere else to be able to pay. Whoa, that's taken up a lot of your time and a lot of their time in order to do, and you can lose the deal when things get too hard. So the faster you get proposals out, the more likely you are to land those deals, and the easier you can make that process, the more likely you are to get that deal too. So that is an area you don't want to hesitate. Now, another area where you can spend money in the startup phase is on education. See, this is where you never really want to let up. Now, there's a good way to go about this and a bad way. So when you are in the startup phase, you can feel like you need to learn everything, and there's so many things that you could be spending money on on to help you propel your education forward. But this is really where you need to take a step back and look at who am I serving and how am I going to help them get the results that they need? How am I going to help solve their problem? And I want to focus all of my time, energy, and money learning just that. And we can get rid of everything else, because that is really a shiny distraction. If whatever you're learning is not going to directly impact your clients, help them get more leads, customers, and sales, well, that's not necessarily where you want to be spending much of your time. So go ahead and spend money on education that's going to help you get your clients results, that's going to help you build your business. Now, another expense you want to consider that many people don't is your cost. You, as the person who is doing the work, what does it cost you to do the work and to pay yourself? You see, when we are starting up in business, we look at all the expenses and we look at the revenue that's coming in, and we take a revenue minus the expenses and we pay ourselves the rest. Well, see, we really need to be factoring into our projects how much it costs for us to do the work. Because if we ever replace ourselves, or we need someone else to come in and help us with the work, we really need to know what that costs and to make sure that we're balancing out our expenses with that revenue. So this is a good opportunity for you to look at what is your cost and really almost pretend that you are paying someone else and not yourself, so that you are factoring that in. It really helps with your prices and balancing those expenses. So one of the things we've talked about here on the channel before is a pricing calculator and how to really look at your hourly rate. I will link that down below for your reference. Now, the last thing that I like to look at in this stage is unexpected costs. Well, let's face it, you're new. This is a startup. So this may be that you are not going to be aware of certain expenses that may come up for you. This could be you're working on a project and you run into an issue that you just can't for the life of you figure out, and you need to be able to bring someone on to help you fix the error or whatever is going on. And so you need to have a little bit set aside to be able to take care of that, so you are not stressed out wondering where that money is going to come from in the meantime. Now, let's go ahead and look at the growth stage. Now, this is where I want you to start thinking about revenue and efficiency. You see, we've already got the momentum going. We've got the ball rolling. We've got clients coming in. We've started to piece together this puzzle here. We're getting things figured out. But now we just want to scale. And we want to figure out how to really grow that base that we have. And so that's why we want to look at revenue and efficiency. So we want to maintain the expenses that are helping us. Our proposal software, our education, your cost for actually doing the work. And this is now where we can consider some other expenses. So to give you some examples, this is where we can look at outsourcing. And the most basic way to do that in this stage is bringing on a virtual assistant. This is a person that you're going to be able to send all those little tiny things that come up that take away so much of your time, but they do nothing for helping you grow your business and helping you generate more revenue. You as the business owner have to stay high level, and you really have to make sure that you are spending as much time as possible on revenue generating tasks. But there's so many of these little things that will come up and distract you from that, which is why having a low cost VA is a really, really good person to bring on. And I will link my contacts down below for who I recommend, where you can get started with that very inexpensively. Now, you can also consider bringing on a web designer, a web developer, someone who helps with certain aspects of SEO or other forms of marketing that your business may do for clients. And this is where you can start to outsource some of the work, so that again, you as a business owner are getting back to those revenue generating tasks where you really want to be. Now, the next expense that we could look at is efficiency and automation. Is there anything in your business that you can automate? Is there anything that is just going to help you be more efficient? You see, when you are more efficient, you are getting work done faster. When you get work done faster, you're getting paid faster. You can bring on more clients faster. So overall, you make more money. So this is why this is a good expense. So if something costs you $20 a month, $50 a month, $100 a month, but it allows you to be able to bring on more work, and that is earning you $1,000, $5,000 or more per month, well, that cost is very much justified. So as an example, using a software like Content Snare, so that way you can request content and a lot more from your clients, and then automate that process. So you're not the ones having to look, did they do it, and then go back and follow up, and it distracts you again from where you really need to be in your business. Now, this is also where we can look at plugin licenses or other software licenses that maybe we really haven't been able to invest in. So just as an example, if you have a particular theme that you use for your clients, instead of paying on a month-by-month basis or buying the theme each time that you serve a different client, being able to just go in for an annual subscription or even a lifetime access subscription. So that way you are minimizing your expenses overall and spreading that out across many clients. That is a really good time to do that, because again, that is saving you from having to go do that each and every time, but it also helps overall minimize your costs at the end of the year. Now, in terms of your own business, this is where you can also consider either paid ads or using money to help grow your funnel. And this could be just software that's going to help you maybe automate a piece of your funnel or grow your funnel or be able to do something a little bit more efficiently that you haven't been able to do. So again, this is the revenue and efficiency stage. So anything in this phase that is going to help you do things faster, it's going to directly impact the revenue that you bring into your business. This is once you have that base for your business and you have those clients coming in, you have more of those puzzle pieces put together, this is really where you can step in and add more of these expenses, because that is going to help you expand. Now, when you are first starting out, it is perfectly okay to use client money to fund what you need. So if you were sitting here like, I want to be in this growth phase, but I'm not there yet. I don't quite have that money yet. And I know I'm going to have expenses when I get clients. Well, good. Start with the absolute basic necessities you need, which is next to nothing. And then let's say you need a client template. Well, once the client pays you a deposit for your work, then take that deposit and go purchase that template that you need. You see, that way you're using their money to fund what you need, and that gets the ball rolling. So as you can tell, I am really big in spending money where it is going to make you more efficient, and in return, it is going to help you grow your revenue. Never hesitate to spend money in that way. Now, if you are just getting started and you would love to be in that growth phase, but you're not there yet, that's okay. Start with the basic necessities for your business, and you're going to be able to grow from there. In fact, starting there and just spending money only where you absolutely need it is going to help you just get that base, that foundation you need for your business. And that will propel you into the growth phase. When I was in that phase, I loved using client money in order to fund what I needed. So I worked to get the client. I only spent for the basic necessities at that time. And then once I had the client, and let's say I knew I needed a certain template for the work, I would wait until they paid their initial deposit for me to start. And then I used that money to go make that purchase. So I wasn't pulling any money out of my pocket directly. So definitely get creative here, but do work to find the balance between being really skimpy and not spending any money, which can actually hold you back, and at the same time not being at the other extreme of just constantly purchasing new software and seeing all these new shiny distractions, and making sure what you are spending your money on is actually going to propel you forward. It is going to help your business generate more revenue. It is going to help your business be more efficient. It is going to help your business better serve your clients and get them more leads, customers, and sales. And if it's not going to do any of that, it's probably a shiny distraction. All right, thank you so much for joining me. I hope this was helpful to you. If you found the video helpful, please do hit the like button below and consider sharing. All right, I'll catch you on the next video.